thank everybody for coming. This is the first event that your Political Action Committee, the Gold and Silver Political Action Committee, is throwing. Hopefully we'll probably be doing a lot more events probably next year as we get into an election period. Right now I'd like to introduce Jimmy Hayes, the lobbyist for ICTA, and he'll give you an update on what's going on too.
Tonight, because of the fact that there are votes that are going on at this minute, Lamar can't be with us, but he has sent his chief of staff for the Judiciary Committee. If Lamar were here and if I were giving his speech, he would be the first one to look over and to tell you, this is the guy that you need to follow up with and talk to. I'm supportive of you. I'm on your side. I talked to him on the phone and he said, Jimmy, he says, I'll do anything to help you folks. You've described this idea of the Chinese counterfeiting to me. He says, I'm fascinated by the whole idea of people that have these big auctions and sell these things, and people that are buying and selling rare coins. He said, I had no idea that counterfeiting would be such a difficult problem, and secondly, I didn't know what these things were that they're encased in. And he says, I had no idea that how much value would be different on just a few points on a scale. Lamar and I came into Congress together in the 100th Congress, but he told me long before he became chairman that if that opportunity came, then Sean McLaughlin would be his chief of staff for the Judiciary Committee, both because of his background and his professional capabilities, and the fact that he had great experience both on the ground and with the kind of legal background that would be required on judiciary. Rather than go any further, let me introduce Sean. He'll introduce himself a bit to you, and I know he's carrying the message that the chairman of Judiciary, Lamar Smith, sent him with. Sean, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. And again, I want to convey Chairman Smith's apologies for not being here. As I was standing here, my BlackBerry went off and said, "We are voting now." So on the floor. So that's where Chairman Smith is right now. So he very much wanted to be here. When Congressman Hayes brought this issue to our attention, it was an issue of first impression for both of us, and an extremely interesting one. I've spent the last few days looking into it based upon Congressman Hayes' presentation to us, and was surprised and impressed to learn that the coin collecting industry is a $5 billion a year industry. It is also something that the committee deals with China a lot, and a number of counterfeiting issues dealing with products from sneakers to handbags to IP products, but this is the first time that's been brought to our attention that the large amount of counterfeiting that is going on, not only with the coins, the collectible coins, but also with the process of encasing the coins and raising the grades and bringing them over to the United States. We have jurisdiction over the Secret Service, who I work with very closely. I was with them in Colombia last year, Bogota, looking at the counterfeiting of U.S. currency and the efforts that they put into in stopping those counterfeiters. I must say that the Secret Service does an awful lot with very little resources. However, the problem is that unlike Colombia, China is not going to allow us to put United States law enforcement into their borders and help disrupt the counterfeiting of these coins. So, and until China outlaws the replicas of coins, we're not going to be able to stop them at the source. But what we can do, and I think what is most important, is it takes a three-pronged approach, I think, in dealing with the problems that you see all the time. The first prong is, which you've already accomplished, is bringing it to Congress's attention. And Congressman Hayes has done a fantastic job of doing that with the chairman. As I said, he's extremely interested in this issue and wants to make sure the committee includes it in all of the counterfeiting work that we do. The second prong, which is important, is oversight. And what we need to do for the Judiciary Committee is to work with the Secret Service, bring them in, let them know that this is an issue that is important to Chairman Smith, get feedback from them about what they are doing and stay on top of them to make sure that they are doing everything they can to not only deal with the currency that is being counterfeited and brought in, but also the counterfeiting of the capsules that they're placed into. The third prong that we need to deal with is legislation. What we need to do is put more teeth into the criminal laws that we have on the books that deal with counterfeiting, but we also need to put more teeth into the civil laws that we have, those being making sure that if someone is going to deal in these counterfeit coins, that the monetary damages to them will be so severe that they won't want to do it, those including civil damages plus also attorney's fees, so that they know that if something is brought, they will be paying the plaintiff's attorney's fees. So those are the three things I think that we need to do to make sure that we are effectively dealing with this, and we are going to begin the process of drafting legislation, doing oversight, and making sure that we are using all of the resources available to us. With this economy and the budget, the hardest thing is trying to make sure we have more law enforcement resources. But if we can work with Secret Service to make sure they are giving this industry the attention that it deserves, I think that they can do a lot to help with the problems that we're seeing. Some of the other issues that I know that you as an industry are dealing with are the issue of 1099 forms. That is an example of what happens in Congress when you are not allowed to read the bill before it goes to the floor. So the good news is that the House has passed H.R. 4, which repeals that particular provision of Obamacare dealing with the filing of 1099s. I was hoping that I could announce tonight that the Senate had passed an amendment to also deal with that. I haven't heard yet. I have my staff waiting to email me as soon as it happens. But what they are going to do is they're using a procedure called deem and pass, which there's an amendment to the small business bill before the Senate committee, Senate floor, which if that amendment passes, it will be deemed to pass H.R. 4, which will then go to the President's desk for signing. Now, the President has said he is supportive of repealing this provision. He has had concerns with how the House bill goes about paying for it, but I cannot imagine that he would veto a bill of this nature with the support of the small business community of the United States because of some funding procedure. So I'm very optimistic that either tonight or tomorrow we can say that the issue of 1099s is going to the President to be repealed. He signed it into law. He's going to repeal it. So hopefully that will happen in the next 24 hours or so. The other good news is the fact that Congressman Weiner has not introduced his bill from last year, the Coin and Precious Metal Disclosure Act, and with the change in the House from Democrat to Republican, I don't think he feels that he has any opportunity to get any traction with that. There will be, I don't foresee any hearings or any movement on that bill. So overall, I think between keeping Anthony Weiner's bill from ever seeing the light of day, making sure that 1099 is repealed, and bringing to the attention the chairman of the Judiciary Committee the issues that you face, and the significant issues, and using oversight over Secret Service and the legislative process to put more teeth into making sure that disreputable dealers do not use these coins to diminish the value of your products. I spent all day today looking at on a website called Inside a Chinese Counterfeit Coin Makers, and I could not believe the production that they were having. I thought this would be a few coins here and there. I mean, these were truckloads of coins that they were creating and sending over to around the world, and that was not on a yearly basis but on a monthly basis. So it's fascinating to me to be made aware of this problem. It's fascinating to the chairman. He wants me to commit to you that he is going to take this problem seriously, and we will go forward with the tools that we have in Congress to help you out.